Hello and welcome to our Wheel and Anchor webinar on our journey to West Africa by land and sea, which takes in the countries of Senegal and the Gambia. Now, not a lot of people will think to visit this part of the world. West Africa is not exactly known to be terribly conducive to visitors from abroad, but these two countries in particular actually offer quite a lot to the visitor. And most importantly, they are quite safe and growing in prosperity more and more all the time, which makes them really an ideal way to get a bit of a glimpse into a part of the world that, as I say, not a lot of people get to see. So I will take you on our little digital journey on our itinerary, which comprises a portion by mega yacht. We'll spend a week aboard this wonderful 49 passenger vessel that'll allow us to venture inland along the river that basically is the main lifeline of the Gambia. Now, for those of you who are regular viewers of our Wheel and Anchor webinars, you may want to skip the introduction the next few minutes while I'll explain what Wheel and Anchor is all about. And you can do that by just scrolling below to the chapters and jumping forward to our map overview and day-by-day itinerary. Otherwise, let me share with you a little bit about Wheel and Anchor, who we are, and what makes us different. Our mission is about bringing travelers together, and that specifically means Canadians, like-minded Canadians who appreciate a more authentic and immersive approach to travel. I understand that most organized travel has become a little bit formulaic. If you are looking for a rushed and tightly scheduled tour with little room for personal exploration, which is what most of the organized tour industry is all about, then we're probably not the right fit. But if you value the camaraderie that comes from traveling with fellow travel enthusiasts and the freedom to explore a bit on your own, then you've definitely come to the right place. Our community focuses on two main aspects: being well-traveled and well-connected. And when we talk about being well-traveled, we're not just talking about checking off destinations on a bucket list. While there's nothing wrong with having a bucket list, because as travelers, we all have them in one shape or another, our aim is to offer experiences that keep your curiosity and sense of adventure alive. We seek opportunities that can change your perspective on the world, whether it's through a deeper dive into local culture or a chance encounter with locals at a cafe or maybe in a museum. Being well connected is about forging friendships that last beyond the trip itself. This is one of the main bits of feedback that we get from our members is that they love the other people on the trip because they just simply share a lot in common. It's about having a network of fellow travel enthusiasts with whom you can share stories and plan future adventures. It also means having the time to genuinely connect with the people and places we visit, going beyond surface level interactions to gain a deeper understanding of the local culture and way of life. Now, delivering on all these promises is no mean feat. It requires dedication and hard work, and we have an exceptional team committed to making it all happen. First of all, my name is Gordon Drager. I'm the founder of Wheel and Anchor, and I curate all the trips that we have on offer here based on over three decades of experience organizing tours for Canadians all around the world. While the entire team is crucial to delivering these great experiences, I want to highlight Paula Sarnik, who is our senior trip specialist. She is your go-to person for any questions about this or any of the trips that we have on offer. She's there to make sure that that's the right fit for you, that you know what you're getting into, and most importantly, that you get all of your questions answered. Our agenda for this webinar is pretty straightforward. I'll be your virtual tour guide walking you through this itinerary and what makes Senegal and the Gambia such a captivating destination, particularly if you've never thought about traveling to this part of the world. I'll start off giving you a little overview map showing the route of where we're going to be going, both by land and by sea. And then I'll dive into a day-by-day itinerary with an explanation of the trip highlights and the aspects that make this such a special itinerary. We're going to start off our trip in Dakar, capital city of Senegal. and located at the very westernmost tip of the African continent. It's a relatively easy place to get to, and although there's no direct flights from Canada to Senegal, there are numerous connections available from gateways around Europe. We'll spend the first few days in Dakar getting to know the city, the country. We'll then embark on our ship, which will take us down along the coast of Senegal into the Gambia and up the Gambia River, which will go far, far inland into the heart of this very narrow country, which is completely surrounded by Senegal, both to the north and to the south. Our 7-night itinerary will take us both up and down river, back to Dakar. We will then fly down to the southern part of Senegal, right on the border to Guinea-Bissau, where we'll spend a few days exploring the region known locally as Casamance. Before I get into the details of the day by day itinerary, let me share with you a little bit about these two countries of Senegal and the Gambia, which both offer a very rich tapestry of history, cultural, and natural beauty. Senegal, which is the larger of the two countries, wraps completely around the Gambia, which is often described as a country within a country. Both were part of various African empires before becoming French and British colonies, respectively, and they gained independence back in the 1960s. Senegal, with its capital of Dakar, juts out into the Atlantic. It's known for its vibrant art scene, its diverse landscapes, and its significant role in the history of the transatlantic slave trade. The country is home to no less than 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, including the hauntingly beautiful Ile de Gorée, which I'll talk more about as we're going to be visiting that as part of our tour in Dakar. The Gambia, bisected by the Gambia River, is the smallest country on mainland Africa. Despite its size, though, it offers incredible biodiversity, particularly in its bird life, making it a paradise for nature enthusiasts. The country's history is deeply entwined with the river, which served as both a major trade route and, tragically, a conduit for the slave trade. Both countries have a rich cultural heritage, influenced by various ethnic groups and their colonial past. Music plays a crucial role in both societies, with Senegal being the birthplace of Mbalax music, and the Gambia is known for its traditional kora players. As we explore these two nations, we'll enjoy a fascinating blend of modernity and tradition, from the bustling streets of Dakar to the serene villages along the Gambia River. We'll delve into their complex histories, experience their warm hospitality, and witness the stunning natural beauty that makes this region truly unique. Now let's get into this in a little more detail, starting off with our arrival in Dakar. Flying into Senegal is not that much further than flying to many parts of Central and Western Europe. Depending on the day of the week and which city you're originating from, you might fly either via Casablanca, Morocco, or perhaps via Lisbon or Paris, France. There are a number of ways to get to the capital of Senegal. You'll be landing at the brand new Blaise Digne Airport, which is about a 45-minute drive outside the city center. And as you drive in with your private transfer driver, you'll immediately see some scenes that will probably take you aback. Uh, uh, while it's quite a modern highway, you'll see all manner of vehicles, everything from modern cars and buses to somewhat dilapidated looking vehicles. Even horse carts are sometimes on the main thoroughfares of the city. And you'll be brought in to our hotel, which is located along the Corniche, which is the beachfront upscale neighborhood of Dakar. Great place to for us to relax and unwind after a lengthy journey from overseas. We'll have, as we always do, a bit of an icebreaker event on our first evening in Dakar to get to know our fellow members and have a little bit of an insight as to what awaits us over the coming days of our trip. We'll set out early on our first day to discover this vibrant and exciting capital city. Not far from our hotel, we'll find the African Renaissance Monument, which is a towering symbol of African resilience and pride, 50 meters high. It's one of the tallest statues in the world, and it actually offers panoramic views of Dakar. So it's a great way to start our exploration of this city. From there, we'll head over to the Museum of Black Civilization, which allows us to immerse ourselves into the history and contributions of the African diaspora. This museum is truly world class. It's quite a modern structure, and it has all kinds of art, artifacts, and stories that span not only Senegal, but the whole African continent and beyond. Provides great context for a lot of what we're going to see over the coming days of our trip. We'll have lunch at a delicious restaurant in downtown Dakar on the waterfront. Gives you a chance to savor some local flavors while looking out at the ocean and Ile de Gorée that we'll be visiting on the next day of our trip. The afternoon, we'll head back to the hotel. You'll have some time to rest up, perhaps walk along the beach, relax at the hotel, or maybe even venture out into the neighborhood. I know it may seem a bit daunting at first, but Dakar is a remarkably safe city. The people are quite friendly, and again, you'll get truly a sense of what life in West Africa is all about in this very, very bustling city. Later on in the evening, we'll have a special treat, which will be a live performance of local music that will introduce us to the rhythms of Senegal. And we'll have our official welcome dinner on this second night, where we will toast to the incredible adventure that waits for us over the rest of the journey. On today's exploration of Dakar, we'll head into the heart of downtown, which is a mix of both modern and not so modern skyscrapers and other tall buildings. But the highlight of the day will be a visit to Gorée Island, Ile de Gorée. Leaving from the main harbor in downtown Dakar, we'll embark on an interesting ferry ride across to the historic Ile de Gorée. The ferry itself is an experience which offers a chance to interact with local vendors selling artisanal goods. It's a common way for people in these countries to participate in the tourism economy. Now, Gorée Island played a significant role in the transatlantic slave trade, and our visit here will be both educational, but also deeply moving. We'll explore the House of Slaves with its infamous door of no return and learn about this very dark chapter in the country's history. The island is home to colorful colonial buildings and a vibrant artist community, so it's also a great place to pick up a little handmade souvenir. We'll spend the afternoon wandering around the scenic island, visiting the local market, or visiting one of the many art galleries, and we'll gain insights into how this small little place became such a powerful symbol of resilience and remembrance. In the evening, not far from our hotel, again in the western suburb, we'll find a very special spot, the Phare des Mamelles, which is a lighthouse perched on top of one of the city's twin hills, offering commanding views over the ocean and, of course, the city itself. If we're lucky, there'll be a tremendous live music performance at this venue. I had a great time, and I'm sure that you will enjoy it as well. Today's the day when we will embark on our yacht at the port of Dakar. Might have a bit of time in the morning, but otherwise we'll be headed down to see our sleek ship that is going to take us down the coast and into the Gambia. As you walk down the pier to see Harmony V, you will be delighted to see this beautiful gleaming white 55-meter long yacht that will be our home for the next 7 days. She's a perfect size ship to do an adventure like this because, of course, holding only 49 passengers, she is small and nimble enough to get into all these places that, let's face it, there's just not a lot of larger vessels, certainly of Western standards, that would be navigating these waters. She's, of course, certified to the latest safety of life at sea, the SOLAS standards, and really offers a very intimate, comfortable environment for this great experience. There's ample outdoor space on the deck from which you can watch the world go by, soaking up that West African sun. Or in the evening time, it's actually a great spot to look up at the night sky and stargaze. A great thing to do in a part of the world where it's a lot darker than what we're accustomed to in more urbanized areas. So, obviously, an outdoor bar as well, and they'll provide service, any beverages that you need during your adventure. Lots of space, of course, to accommodate us on the inside as well. You have a main lounge with seating for everyone on board. It's a perfect spot to gather with your fellow travelers, both Wheel and Anchor members and those others who will be joining us for this voyage. This is where they'll also hold the lectures and briefings about the next day, and of course, as well, here you've got full bar and beverage service in the dining room. There's beautiful, huge windows, so as you're enjoying your meals, you can look out so you don't miss anything. Talking about dining, the cuisine on board is sort of a mix of local cuisine, also sort of continental type food with some hint of Greek in there. This is a Greek owned vessel, so there's always a delightful treat from that country's cuisine. And as you usually, what happens is you have breakfast and lunch served buffet style for your convenience, which is a great way on a trip like this. The times will vary somewhat according to when we're on shore, and in the evening, we're treated to a lovely set menu sit down dinner. Cabins on board, quite comfortable. We are featuring two categories of cabins, which are similar in size. The only main difference being whether they're on the main deck or on the upper deck. They're around 12 and a half square meters, so about 135 square feet. So quite comfortable. Of course, all feature private bathroom with shower. They've got a TV, there's a fridge in there, hair dryer, of course, they're air conditioned and safe deposit box as well. So all amenities that you could expect from a vessel of this quality. We're going to be departing on day four pretty much at sunset and be sailing through the night, arriving into the Sine Saloum Delta area of Senegal. This part of the country is actually a UNESCO biosphere reserve, and it's important for all kinds of wildlife, particularly for birding. The delta is a natural habitat for a diverse range of not only bird species but marine turtles and dolphins and manatees, crocodiles, all kinds of things. We have an optional shore excursion to two villages here, which are Jifé and Jol Fadiout. Will For those that wish to go along. And of course, on a trip like this, you have the option to participate in these excursions. You can do your own thing. That's the nice thing is that there's a pace sort of for everyone. For those that opt to join us, we'll head off in these motorized pirogues, as those are the local sort of fishing vessels, and we'll take a bus ride from shore over to Joel, which is a lovely fishing village. And from there, we'll row across the shallow bay. Of course, we're not going to row. We'll have some friendly locals bring us across to see these granary huts on stilts and to visit a very unique seashell cemetery, something that I've not seen before. I think it's quite an interesting spot to visit. This trip offers us quite a unique glimpse into local life and the ingenious ways that the communities have adapted to their environment. We'll head back to the ship for lunch, heading out in the afternoon, and we'll be sailing south, leaving Senegal, heading into the Gambia, with our destination being Banjul, the capital of the country. And it's the gateway, it's the starting point for the 1,000-kilometer long Gambia River. We're not going down the entire length of it, but certainly a long way into the country. It'll be fisherman's night on board tonight, so we'll have a dinner on board while we're docked in the capital of Banjul. This morning, we'll have the chance to actually visit the capital and see a little bit more about what's in store for us in Gambia. So you will, of course, be able to walk around or explore the city on your own, but I do suggest taking the optional excursion because we'll be visiting not only Banjul but also the nearby village of Bakau. We'll start looking at this amazing Arch 22, which is a triumphal arch commemorating the coup d'etat back in 1994 that put in place the current government. So a very important spot in the recent history of the country. We're also going to head over to in Bacau and see the Kachikali crocodile pool, which is always cool to see these ferocious creatures. There's about 70 of them in there. And the reason that they have set it up is because it's actually a sacred site for local women who face fertility issues. They believe that the crocodiles can solve that problem for them. I'm not sure how, but that's what we'll find out when we're there. We'll also have a chance to visit the National Museum, which will give us a great insight before we venture further into the country about the history. And we'll see the Albert Market, which is a very vibrant daily market where we can shop for local handicrafts. By the afternoon, we'll be heading out and going upriver towards Tendaba, where we will be moored for the evening. In Tendaba, we have two different excursions for you to enjoy your day. First of all, in the morning, we have the opportunity to go and visit Kiang West National Park, where we'll take a walk through the savannah, where there's home to, again, a vast number of bird species, around 250, and all kinds of interesting wildlife, like the Guinea baboons, the bush bucks. We'll stop for some refreshments in a little village called Bateling and come back in an open safari truck, which will pass through local villages. And again, this will really give you a flavor for what life is like in rural Gambia. I mean, as you can imagine, not a ton of tourists passed through this area, which makes it particularly interesting to see how the local people are living. In the afternoon, we have another opportunity to go out and explore, which will be our optional excursion to the Baubalong Wetland Reserve. Again, we'll embark on motor pirogues, which will take us through the reserve's creeks that are also known for amazing bird watching. You might see some very rare species like the Pell's fishing owl or the African finfoot, but there's also lots of other marine life to see, marine and land life like Nile crocodiles and baboons. So I think that either or both of these trips would be a great way to expend our day in Tendaba. We continue by sailing upriver to the furthest point that we can go that's navigable for a vessel of our size in the Gambia. Our destination will be Kuntor, where we'll have a chance to participate in an excursion to the Gambia National Park. Once again, motor pirogue, small vessels, fun way to get around because again, it lets us get into places that you just can't get with a larger vessel. And we'll head to Baboon Island. And paradoxically, Baboon Island is home to the chimpanzee rehabilitation project. Obviously, chimpanzees and bamboos from the same general species, but completely different mammals nonetheless. We'll get a chance here not only to see the chimpanzees, amazing creatures if you've never seen them up close and personal before, but there's also hippos, more crocodiles, various monkey species. This whole adventure is really a safari from the water, which is kind of a unique experience. When we get back to Kuntor, we'll be greeted by a Mandinka masquerade known as the Kankurang, which is quite a lively, colorful show, a great way to welcome us back. And we'll have dinner on board as we enjoy the evening at the furthest point upstream on our journey. We spend the first part of our day in Kontor with one more exciting excursion before we head downstream towards Kor and then onward to Banjul. The excursion today is really one of the most important, one of the highlights of our trip because it offers us a journey into the ancient past of the Gambia. We'll hop on a little bus, we'll take a ferry ride, and we'll arrive at a place called Janjubore, which is one of the country's oldest towns. But our destination today is the mysterious Wasu stone circles. Now, these are part of a set of larger stone circles of Senegambia, UNESCO World Heritage Site, and and they give us a glimpse into the ancient history in West Africa. These are megalithic monuments that they believe to be ancient burial grounds, and they really showcase the ingenuity and the organization of early African civilizations. Think of the Incas in Latin America. There's that level of detail that's gone into these things. As we walk up to the site, you'll be really taken aback by the scale and the precision of these structures. The tallest one being some almost 3 meters high. Each stone, each circle being consisting of around 8 to a dozen massive pillars. Each stone weighing about somewhere around 7 tons each. And they have a diameter of about 4 to 6 meters. They believe that this site was constructed somewhere between the 16th and the 3rd century BC. So it represents well over 1,500 years of history. But notably, again, what you'll see is that the level of skill that was required to extract them, shape them, and erect them speaks to a level of technological ingenuity about the societies that thrived in this region at the time. We'll obviously have a chance to explore. We'll have some great insights from our local guide. There's a museum there, and we'll have a chance to sort of think about the theories of how this came to be, much as we would do as at any ancient sites that have a lot of questions associated with them. So this is a very unique archaeological experience that challenges some of the misconceptions that we have about early African society. And there's certainly a reminder of the incredible organizational capabilities that existed in pre-colonial African civilization. We'll head back to the ship. We'll sail downstream, stopping at the village of Kor. This is a small fishing village and a lovely place for us to be able to get out, stroll around amongst the local people and see what village life in a very rural part of the country is all about. That evening, back on board, we'll have our captain's dinner, getting ready for our farewell as we head back towards Banjul, the Gambia. On our last full day of the trip, we'll have one more interesting stop in the Gambia before we cross back into Senegal. Here we'll visit Kunta Kinte Island, which used to be called James Island, and it holds some pretty profound historical significance as a key piece in the transatlantic slave trade. You have the opportunity to stroll around on your own. We also offer an optional excursion here where you'll get a much deeper insight into its complex history. The island is located at the mouth of the Gambia River, and it was a strategic holding place for enslaved Africans before that brutal journey they had to make across the Atlantic. The island actually gained international recognition because of the novel Roots by Alex Haley. You'll probably remember it. I certainly do. It was a bestseller as we were growing up. They made a TV adaptation of it, and it tells the story of Kunte Kunte, who was a young African man who was captured and enslaved. Today, the island is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it offers us a tangible connection to this really dark chapter in the history of Gambia. The ruins of Fort St. James and other structures are also pretty poignant reminders of the island's past. The island has been eroding over time, and it's sort of an interesting symbolization of the nature's reclamation and the painful legacy that was once here. This is undoubtedly probably the most moving and educational experience that we'll have on this voyage. Back to the ship again for lunch, back into Banjul, and we'll depart there for the evening. In the evening, leaving the Gambia, excuse me, and heading back up towards Dakar. We'll have one last dinner on board. It'll be a Gambian night. There'll be some performers who are going to demonstrate the traditional kora instrument. And we'll sail overnight back to Dakar, and our arrival will be in Senegal in the morning. At this point, we will wave farewell to our ship, the Harmony V, our home for the last 7 days, as we make our way to the next segment of our adventure in southern Senegal. After we've had breakfast on board, we will make our way off the peninsula of Dakar and around to the Blaisdene Airport, where we will have our relatively short flight, about an hour, down to Cap Skirring, which is a beautiful coastal town in the region of Casamance in southern Senegal. Once we get there, we'll have a short drive to our lovely beachfront hotel, where we'll spend the next 3 nights. Here you'll have some time to relax and soak up the atmosphere and the beautiful, huge beaches that they have along the shoreline here at Cap Skirring. In the evening, we'll have a lovely welcome dinner at the hotel. We'll get to sample some different Senegalese cuisine from the region of Casamance, and we will talk about some of the details of what we're going to get up to in the next few days. Today, we have a great adventure exploring a little bit of this region, which is kind of unique and best known for all of its mangroves. One of the highlights of our visit to Casamance will be taking a small boat through the vast area of mangroves that cover much of this region. Here, we'll find natural oysters growing on the stems, and maybe some other creatures as well. The oysters that grow on the stems are harvested by local women. Traditionally, the whole tree was destroyed in the process, but now they have turned to more sustainable methods in order to preserve the precious mangroves that are so vital to the local ecology. On returning to the base, we'll see how these oysters are roasted right on the stems over an open fire. You pry them open with a knife, just like you would if you were enjoying them in a restaurant, but I can honestly say from my own experience here that this way of eating oysters, freshly harvested from the mangroves, is probably the best that I've ever had. Today is the day to enjoy the hotel and the beautiful beaches of Cap Skirring. For those seeking a little more activity, we'll have some optional excursions available. You might join a fishing trip with local fishermen, or take a guided nature walk, or perhaps visit a nearby Diola village where you can learn about traditional crafts and customs. Of course, you could also take a walk down the beach and cross an international frontier. I'm just sharing a first today. I'm officially here on the beach, barefoot, crossing the border from Senegal to Guinea-Bissau. I can't say that I've ever crossed an international frontier like this, particularly in my bare feet and on a beach with no one around except my border guard doggy behind me. We'll bid farewell to Casamance this morning as we make our way back to the airport at Cap Skirring for the short hop back to Dakar. Once we arrive, we're going to check in for our final night at an airport hotel, but we're going to head out to a nearby village to enjoy some of the local arts, crafts, and music scene. Our West African adventure comes to an end today after breakfast at our hotel in Dakar. You'll be transferred out to meet your individual flights back home. And as you depart, we'll be reflecting on the diverse landscapes, the rich cultures, and warm hospitality that you've experienced throughout Senegal and the Gambia. Whether it was cruising along the Gambia River, exploring all these UNESCO World Heritage Sites, or just relaxing on the beaches of Cap Skirring, we hope that you'll find this trip leaves you with a deeper understanding of this fascinating region and the memories that will last a lifetime. To get more details about our upcoming trip to Senegal and the Gambia, you can simply visit our webpage. There's a link in the description blocks below, and on that webpage, you'll find an overview of the trip, as well as the link to download our trip itinerary, which will give you the rest of the details, the pricing, and so on. We also have a trip-specific reference guide that will address some of the logistic details about visiting this part of the world. Note that this trip may be followed by other trips in the region that we offer, including either Morocco or the Cape Verde Islands. So do look out for the webinar on YouTube for either of those trips, or simply have a chat with our trip specialist. Of course, you'll likely have questions after reviewing this webinar and reading through the material. You're welcome to contact us at any time. Drop us an email, give us a call. Either Paula or one of our other trip specialists will be more than happy to answer your questions to make sure that you have everything you need to know to join us on this wonderful trip. I hope you've enjoyed our webinar today. And if you like these webinars, you are welcome to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can click on the subscribe button below. And every time we publish a new webinar about a new destination, then you'll get a notification and you can be one of the first to find out about our trips. Thanks so much for tuning in.